I said I'd be back, so here we are, returning to one of my favorite cities. Not just in Japan, but anywhere. This time last year, my wife and I spent 3 days exploring Sapporo, eating our way across the city and seeing as much as we could. But 3 days never really felt like enough. So this trip is about picking up where we left off. Just like last time, we flew out of Matsumoto's Shinshu Airport. "40 minutes after arriving, we were already in the air. No queues, no endless walking, no mucking about. I'll take domestic over international flights any day of the week. Any day." Unlike our last trip though, this time we landed at New Chitose Airport, Sapporo's main gateway and a place that's almost a destination in itself. Shops, restaurants, and somewhere we were really looking forward to exploring before heading home. After collecting our bags, we jumped on a coach into the city center before making our way to Hotel Unwind. This was our second stay here. We loved it the first time around, so coming back was an easy decision. The room was just as we remembered. Cozy, clean, exactly what we needed. And once we'd settled in, we headed out in search of one thing. Genghis Khan. No, not that Genghis Khan. It's what they call lamb here. Back at the hotel, it was time to take full advantage of that complimentary wine. We found ourselves on the rooftop terrace, watching the evening creep in while working our way through the different wines on offer. Every June, Sapporo hosts the YOSAKOI Festival, a huge 5-day celebration packed with energetic dancing, colorful costumes, giant flags, and the unmistakable sound of wooden clappers echoing through the streets. The energy was infectious. One thing that absolutely had to happen on this trip was the Miso Ramen. This place, Horyu, came highly recommended, and now I understand why. I've lived in Japan for years and I've eaten plenty of bowls of ramen. But every now and then you stumble across somewhere that makes you stop after the first mouthful and grin. And this was one of those places. As darkness settled over the city, we wandered through the streets, soaking up the atmosphere before heading back to the hotel. I had mentioned this in my last video, but it's a bit of a tradition to end the night with Parfait, and my wife wasn't about to argue with that tradition. The presentation alone was worth ordering. It looked like a tiny little campfire sitting on top. Pour the hot chocolate over it, and everything slowly melted through the layers of fruit and ice cream underneath. Not a bad way to end our first day. After picking up the rental car, all done on my wife's mobile phone by the way, unlocks it and everything, our plan was to visit Moerenuma Park. We arrived at Moerenuma Park. It was a little breezy, but the sun was out and it was a bit hot, so that breeze was welcome. The park is on the outskirts of Sapporo and it's unlike anywhere else we've been to in the city. Rather than filling it with gardens and playgrounds, the park is dotted with striking man-made landmarks. There's Mount Moerenuma, an artificial hill with fantastic views across the city, a huge glass pyramid called Hidamari, and the sea fountain, where towering jets of water burst high into the air during daily performances. It's one of those places that's difficult to describe properly. You really have to wonder about it yourself to appreciate it. And we certainly enjoyed doing exactly that. Good for cleaning your arse. Back in the city center, there was one thing on our minds: soup curry. The last time we visited Sapporo, we ate at the famous Garaku, but this time we decided to try suage instead. It's a different type of atmosphere, but every bit as satisfying.
Is the speed important?
After lunch, we wandered over to Baristart Coffee, a place I'd come across online. It wasn't far, so we thought we'd see what all the fuss was about. The coffee was excellent, exactly what we needed, and the staff couldn't have been friendlier. You customize your drink however you like, so we grabbed ours and sat outside, watching the city drift by for a while. If you're planning on picking up souvenirs, Sapporo Station is surrounded by shopping centres packed with gift stores. We managed to fill a couple of bags before making our way back to the hotel. For dinner, we fancied something a little different: Mexican. We found a small place called Tacos and Bar. Cozy, relaxed, and with a really welcoming staff. A little story: I ordered a tequila mojito, only to be told they'd run out of mint. Fair enough. So I picked something else. A little while later, the bartender appeared with the mojito that I originally ordered. Turns out he quietly slipped out to a nearby supermarket, bought fresh mint himself, made a drink, and refused to charge me for it. What a legend. Now, one of my wife's favorite traditions: one last parfait before calling it a night. After breakfast, we caught the coach back to the new Chitose airport. And if you got a bit more time before your flight, it's well worth arriving early. One place that caught our eye was Asombroso, famous for its hand-cut fries made using locally grown Hokkaido potatoes. The name comes from the Spanish word for amazing, and they were. Of course, no trip to Sapporo could end without one last bowl of ramen. It seemed like the perfect way to wrap things up before climbing back into the skies. If you're flying through Chitose, make time for the restaurants. You won't regret it. Sapporo delivered once again. Even after a second trip, it feels like we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to see, and the next time I think we'll leave the city behind us and head into Hokkaido's countryside. The mountains, the trails, and the campsites, that's calling our name now. If you already live in Japan or you're planning a trip here someday, I genuinely recommend adding Sapporo to the list. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed coming along with us. Until the next one, take care.